Hello and welcome to another episode of Gaming with The Sims. This is going to be my first hobby video really for tabletop wargaming, and today I'm going to be looking at the Rohan terrain, which came out in December from Games Workshop. This is going to be the first of probably one of 3 or one of 4 videos looking at everything. So today we're going to have an overview of the terrain and the actual sprues which make it. It's only 2 sprues, so we will have a look at them in a bit more detail, close up. We've also got, I have taken apart 6 of the house kits, done some work on them, and I've got the basis of the terrain in front of me here. So we're going to have a look at the traditional house, which is here. We're going to look at it in more detail. This is like fully built, this one. We've got my long Rohan house here, you can see, with a wide walkway. It's double roof long roof here. We've also got a option, you've seen some photos probably, of how it looks differently. So we're going to have that. And how I made this. I'll put some pictures up, and then we're going to try and make these 2 buildings here. These 2 buildings are not normal. These are like my own creation. This kit is very versatile. So out of my 6 Rohan kits from my first Stronghold box here, we're going to be looking at these 4 buildings. So yeah, 4 buildings, 6 kits. I went a bit crazy. How to make a traditional house like this out of 1 kit. This is going to be covered in either video 2 or video 3, depending on how it goes. Because I've got another 6 kits. I'm going to make 1 more normal house, and then we're going to make a little blacksmith as one of them, and then we're going to try and make a grand big hall as well from the last 4 kits, because I'm going to try and do it in 4 kits. How modular this is, I'm going to keep it as just like a warehouse, and then I'm going to have the front of it where I can put on to make it as the grand hall. Because if you have a look at these kits, you can actually take the sides off, and this house goes from having just a house with a dormer on it to having a little front porch with a roof on it over the porch. So it's quite easy. The roofs can come off quite easily as well, so if you want to play it and go inside, you can do. So, and it all, how it designs, it stays on. Even though it's not glued, it does stay on. How it locks in on the side means it doesn't move side to side either. So we're going to have a look at this in more detail. Then we're going to have a look at these 2 buildings, and then I'm going to finish off with this long one at the end. And if we don't get time for this today, we'll get this on the next video. So they're the areas we're going to do. But to start things off, we'll bring Cameron closer and we'll actually have a look at the sprues. So this is the Watchtower sprue. In each Watchtower kit you get 4 identical sprues like this. So they have tried to make it quite diverse and versatile, but they are 4 identical sprues. I need to make that very clear. 4 identical sprues. So obviously we have the wall here with the walkway, and then you get some little legs to hold it up. You've got, so because you get 4 kits, you get 4 of these, and they use 2 of these to make each door, and you tie it together with the bars, which, because I haven't made this yet, this one here. So one goes against here, the second one goes against here, holds them together, and then so that makes a door. We've got hinges here and here, so you can actually use it and open it, which is quite cool. Then to make the actual tower itself, so that's the walls, you use 4 of these here. They all link together on a couple of these parts here, and it'll make it so you get the platform, and then obviously you've got 4 sides. You combine 2 of these ladders to make the ladder up to the platform, and then your other 2 ladders are your 2 ladders to put around the 4 walls. So it is quite rigid, this kit. These are the sides of the tower. So where you put the ladders up, you leave this part out to leave a gap in it, and these go up the other sides of it. So that is the actual tower and the kit. As I say, it's 4 of the kits. It's quite really smart how Games Workshop have done this. Massive credit to them that they've made it same kit just 4 times. Quite easy to do, and quite modular. I'm gonna do 2 towers normally, and then I might play around with another 2 towers. Obviously all my walls are predominantly going to be on one video, so you can see this kit in more detail, but I'm going to concentrate on all the houses first. So this is the Rohan Watchtowers and Palisades sprue, and it's quite boring. If you did get a Stronghold box, you got 8 of these sprues to make 2 kits. Now we look at the Rohan Building kit. So this is the kit. Each Rohan Building kit, you get 2 of these sprues, and again they are identical sprues. They are extremely versatile sprues. You get a roof piece, 2 longer walls, 1 shorter wall, 2 short roof bits, 2 corner bits, and then the top of the roofing, 2 gable ends. You've got a T-piece to sort of fix the top bit. There's quite a few corners and straight connectors here, sorry. And then you get some fences, you get a barrel set, so the barrels make a round set like this. And then you've got other things, so that dormer, if I don't actually have one of them popped out to show you, but it has Rohan details on one side and a little window on the other. And then you've got options for how you want to finish the corners. You've got corner, the sides to the roofs here and here. So it is quite versatile, this kit. We'll look at some of these areas, and all these panels are all double-sided. The main ones to give you the options. I would have preferred the short one without any detail on it, because of when we have a look at it. If we have a look at it here, you get a window there and a boxed up window here. I would have loved one with no detail on. Would have made things quite a lot simpler. But that's what we've got. So let's have a look at some of these pieces in more detail, shall we? So I'll take this away and I'll grab some of the areas to look at. So we've got 2 long wall options. We've got these 2. Let's zoom in slightly, shall we? So these are your wall options here and here. Looks like we're crooked slightly. So these are our wall options. You get 2 different types of walls on each sprue. This one's got 2 slit windows on it, and then the other side of it we have a door. We've got 2 open windows on this side, and then this side is completely blank. There is nothing on it at all. These blank panels here, these are where you put your little outbuilding attachments on. If you don't use a blank panel, they don't sit, so you have to file it down. I'll show you the different options with this in a minute. So if you saw on that as well, this isn't the only door. You can obviously cover this one up or a blank panel up and put the greater door on. But these are your 2 options, like we showed you before, for the short option, you've got closed shutters that side and a window that side. So it's always good to plan out your building first. Alright, so there are our walls. On your roofs, the roofs are quite cool. So we're going to get 2 roof pieces like this in front of you. We'll zoom out slightly. So these roofs are designed to go like this, which then have if you put 2 of these on, they sit together perfectly to form the top, and they sit on quite nicely. Right? But what you don't see is how they link together. So they actually have on their ends, and you can't really see it here, but they actually fit together like that really well, and they've got a joint on the back, so they fit together that way perfectly. If you want to make a long roof, they also sit in together like that, so there's notches here and here which helps sit them in. So I'm trying to push that one along, and it's not, because of it is tying in well at the back as well. So it's all designed to be extremely versatile. So that's moving that way, versatile, and to make it easier for the hobbyer to actually hobby. So this is an amazing kit. One thing to actually notice on is these triangular areas though. So you've got to be very careful. This is the right way up. So you've got your joining part here. So that is one way with the panels running up. And then you've got the other way like this with the panels going along the sides. And then you get a bottom bar for support, and the obviously diagonal here which you get on this piece here. Be careful how you want your ends to look. I wanted on this house for it to all be running up, and I nearly had all running up this side, and then when I came around to this side it was nearly sideways. So if you want to look at it, please be careful with your detailing. Another thing with the detailing, each of these connectors, right, extremely detailed wood, and let's get a bit closer in, because on each of these, I can't focus on what I want to show you, but on each of them there is, and hopefully you can see it there, 2 little nails. So each of these have got 2 nails at one side. You want your nails at the top. You don't want your nails at the bottom. You want your nails at the top, because that's how they would have fastened it. So if you want to go into all that little detail, please look closely. I have to admit, I think I got 1 or 2 of my nails in the rush building my house at the bottom. So I'm going to have to paint them freestyle on. But please look at everything carefully. Now, we're going to have a look at the roofs, the built roofs, and how, when you connect these 2 together, like this, and they connect like that perfectly, what they look underneath, because of this is quite really cool, and it allows you to do a lot of stuff. So, this is a single, oh yeah, these sides, forgot to say, if you are also making it longer, these here are designed to fit on perfectly continuously. So if you had another one here, let's actually get one of these, and you put it on like so, to make a longer one, your actual roof detailing also snuggles up perfectly with it. Be careful, there's 2 of these. This one doesn't sit on this side, but it's designed to sit on this side. Alright, so they are left or right specific. You can't just go, oh yeah, let's stick it on it. It is designed to be one way. Alright? But that is how cool these kits are. So let's see if we can see inside of it. So when you built it, you'll actually see there is 4 notches. One here, one here, one here, and then one here. So these notches correspond with these. So when you do a big house, it sits in the notch here and the notch here. But when you do a long one, okay, a short house, which only has a small one, sits between these 2 notches. If you had one which had these long panels, it would sit between these notches, meaning when you do this and when you do this, they don't actually move. And even you can move it in one. I haven't actually tried this, this is the first time. You can't actually move it in one that way because it doesn't actually quite fit there. But even just being in one here, it's not moving. So you have a little overhang here. But yeah, what I am, I did glue this one together. Otherwise I could have done like a 4 here and a 4 here instead of, well, a 2 wide or 1 wide sort of thing. So that's a 3 wide, let's say. And this is a 1 wide, so you've got a 2 wide gap in the middle. I'm going to show you this with these in here. So you could have had actually a 2 gap and a 2, but I did glue this one. So, but you see, I didn't glue this one for my demonstrations. But you saw that was quite rigid before I fully forced it. So these do not move up and down. So it is quite cool how the detail is. Also, you'll notice there is no detail in here really, but there is this last little bit because that's where it's going to overhang your walls. So hopefully that will have shown you some of the information for these kits. Now going on to, so these, the actual house like it is. Your roof can sit on either way quite happily. This one is glued on. Just find a nice snug place you want to have this on and glue it on. It doesn't rest on its own. There's no exact placing. You've just got to sort of feel where you want to have this on. But if we have a look at the, obviously you can't, if you put your dormer on here, you can't sort of, you can put it on like that if you're not having a roof, but when you go to put a roof on, they get in the way. So please be careful with that. So we'll put it on this side and it rests on like this. Again, the roofs have notches for locations where this is. So this notch here, when you only have these 2 thin parts, are here, and it's for this triangle piece there to sit into. When it's longer, obviously you've got this one for it to rest on here. Now, I was saying this, you have to be careful where you put these on. So this one where the door is, okay, you rest it up, you put it on, and it's snug. There is nothing either side, if you can see, so it sits over the door okay. A blank panel, it sits over okay as well. But if you go over to here, so if you see in the roof, you'll see 1, 2, and 3 notches. It's what these notches sit in. So these will sit in these 2 here, or you have these 2 here. Alright? Quite simple. Now, the door will always sit between these 2 notches, so it covers it up. Okay? If, however, you put a window panel in, the window sits right underneath one of these notches. So when you actually put it on here, you get half a window And also, half a window means, if you can see it, this side's not sitting flush. Alright? So please be careful when you think about where you want these porches to be. On this side, I have done 3 windows. So I've done a double window and a single window. I can't actually put the door on this side at all. It just doesn't work. It goes over these 2 windows or these 2 windows. It doesn't work because it doesn't sit flat. If you put one of these panels on it, again, it sits over the 2 slits. It doesn't sit flush. So you either have to sit it on a door, like so, or, and I don't actually have one to hand at the moment. Yeah, I do. Or you sit it on a blank panel. Either a door or a blank panel works fine. One of the window panels don't. And you can't have it so it's over one of these and then the single. You have to have it sitting on the long panel. Okay, so that is this outer building. You can build this outer building 3 ways, can I say. So you can have it that you've got this door open. You don't have to put this panel on, and you can do one of the triangle pieces up top and have it open. So you actually get these like Rohan areas, and that sits in the side here and sitting inside there. So it's like an open porch. You can also put these on these sides of the. So actually, it can be fully open, but with just a roof on. If you do it that way, you can put it over windows. However, not a great thing because of you'll actually want the door piece to sit it on. So because of obviously you need a door for a porch. So with your porches, they are limited where they can go. So please bear that in mind when you design them. Also, a porch can go on the side of the building like this, on these ends. So that is another option. I'm going to have this building. I've got my porch on here. My other normal building, I'm going to have a porch on the end. So I'll show you both ways in my last video. But that is where we're at the moment with this detail. So these are the houses. They are one of the best kits Games Workshop have ever designed. They are really thoughtful. What I'm actually going to do is all my other. I'm not doing any dormers or any porches in this video. I'm going to do them all at the end because of with your porches. These are a set of porch tiles. All the sides can actually be put together. So I don't know, I'm going to have some long porches. I'm going to do a double porch, if that makes, well, it's going to be a walkway, and it's going to look like this. It works perfectly. So I can actually have one building here, another building here, if that makes sense, and then one thin walkway between both buildings. So that is going to be in one of my later videos as well. I'm going to actually just build buildings primarily at the moment. So this is what I've been playing around with. If you've got multiple kits, I want to strongly advise you that if you're doing some, before you go all crazy, build a normal one first, fully. It will help you immensely. Not that I want to make you go to Games Workshop and take a second mortgage out for these houses, but if you are doing crazy stuff, build one first because of it will teach you a lot. So I'm going to put up some photos over the video to show you what this building building's going to be like. Originally when I designed this long building, so I'm going to do the long building first now, because I've got it out and broken in front of me. I designed it to have a narrow walkway. Okay. As it is here, this one doesn't actually stick together very well. So my design was for it to be like this. Narrow walkway in the centre. If you have a look, actually, let's back sit up. Everything's collapsed. I'm going to take this off so we can actually fully see it. So this is building. Narrow walkway with door on the side, if you can see there, to get in and out from one building to the other. But people didn't really like this one. They said it was too thin. In real life, you would have narrow ones like this. If you were having, because this would be like a store, and this would be the main house. In real life, you'd have a store that big, really, just storing stuff. If you were having it, we're going to just take the roof off. As I say, this isn't glued; it will fall apart. If we change this now and put the short sides on it instead, this actually does stay together remarkably well. Because it's a store, I'm putting the shutters on the sides of it. It fits one way a lot better than the other way. This is really strong. I can pick it up one way. Short pieces stick in a lot more than the longer pieces. So I sit on like this. This is, we've got a wide one, so you could probably put carts through if you've got the right height. But if you have a look, because of semi-prepared for this, if I take one of my Gladrim horses, they don't really fit. So you wouldn't really expect horses to go through with a cart. That's the only reason you'd probably actually only go in. And if you have a look at it, you could walk in as a human, but horses, not really. So, and a single width would be the right size for a human only to walk in and out. Gameplay, will it make that much difference? Only on certain line of sights. So I would say to each their own. I don't think it will make too much difference. Alright? But this is how it is. So I'm going to load, if it works, how I made this building up in front. So the kit you see in front of you, how I've laid it out, is how you need to build it if you were to do the longer store. Okay? All you've got to do is, to make it a shorter one, is the little box in front of you nearest to you, you swap out the two longs there for the two shorts. You could even put a double long one in the back one and just a short one if you wanted the short passageway and the short building at the side, short store. For the keen, eager-eyed observations, I did miss on this photo 2 of the T-pieces to make up the triangle ends. So well done if you did notice that before I said it. But other than that, this is it. So I take this and then I force forward slightly, and I've glued the 2 crosses together in the bottom left hand corner. Sorry, the 2 top of the roofs together to make with it. I've done the 2 roof sides, and then I've also stuck together the sides of each building. So this one is the one for the long side with the short walkway, and this other picture shows it with the short store with the wide passageway. Okay, so that is how it all sits together. Then you make the roof together 3D wise, so this is all flat packed. You put the roof together 3D wise, you stick the sides together, and then the roof, as you can see in the building again, live on the video, the roof can just, so I would leave it as 3 pieces. Alright, so that is this first building. Now, my 2 other buildings are crazier. Okay, so I'm going to start with a single story building. So in this video I've been pulling parts to show you, so it is a bit more desensitized, but this is how I'm planned to have this building. So it's going to be a normal-ish building like this part with a normal roof, but it's going to be connected to this, and it's basically half a building, so it's going to be like a store at the top. It's going to be open on ground level. I have defiled some of the fences to make like a little enclosure this corner. I'll probably continue that along, and I've got a pillar here with the Rohan details. So this here underneath here at ground level is going to be like a stable, a sheltered area to tie up your horses while it's raining outside. So this is what this building is going to look like. I haven't built it before. This is my crazy plan in my head, but we're gonna plan it, go through it, and see what it looks like. Alright, so let's grab my glue. It's all cleaned up, ready for this, and let's start. I hope it all goes well. So I'm using a straight connector here, and I did look at the start to make sure the top had my little bolts on it. I'm using because it's meant to be designed as a store at first floor, I'm using a blank long panel, and I'm using one which has got closed hatches for the little window at the end. So you've got a nice little escape or way in and out at the end. I've also got a closed end this side for it. I'm using a horizontal one here because of it's got the support at the bottom, which you'd actually have, and then it goes onto a corner. Start with my area for the roof. I'm gonna start this way and work that way, really. all my houses, well, all my buildings are using the fancy Rohan at the ends of the roofs. For this one, I had to make sure to be careful that I got the right detailing to have the right lengths, because of this side's only going to have that, because it's going to have no roof here and a long roof that side. I've just got a bit of extra glue on that, so that's pulled off. So we're going to let this dry here really before we build up here. So we're going to start it. So I recommend doing the sides first, letting them glue. I disagree with the instruction. I put both corner pieces on these. I find it makes it easier / stronger to work with. So let's do the sides here. Double check where your detail is for your so that's 2 sides done. Get my corners. I'm sorry that some of this is looking a bit boring. I'm trying to go as fast as I can without making a mistake. So that's that side. I'm putting a door on this end of the house. There's also a door here. All of that side. You know what? No, I'm gonna have all my no. We'll leave it as it is. We'll leave it as it is. As I say, when you're doing stuff like this, always plan out where you want all your openings first and how you want it to look. Like I've laid it out to double check you don't have any areas like that you will regret. Right? So now I'm going to do the sides like this. It is very important you do this correctly. And it's a lot easier to get it done now and let it time to, even though this is quite quick drying because it's plastic and I'm using plastic glue, it's to allow everything time for the strength. So I'll do the 2 sides as well. I'm going to leave that off there. Now I've got this cross piece here. All my others I'm going to have horizontally going because of the supports it's needed. So with this, I may as well keep this whole building looking the same. So I'm going to have horizontal at that end as well. So and this building will give me an opportunity to show you that there is a way, potentially, because it's going to happen on my other buildings, where I've got a decision to make. Whether to glue or not to glue these triangles. So when you do this, on this one, you want to put a bit of glue at the top here only, and then put it in So when I turn this over, in a minute, once it's dry, it looks like that. There is an overlap, and this cross piece here means it's a lot stronger to stick to the side of the building. I have seen others who have taken one of these and given more detail to the like a blacksmiths. I will be looking at that in another videos as well. But at the moment, I'm just going to do these, what I've planned, and then we'll move on to other crazy buildings at another time. So, this is going to be stuck all together, so it's one building. Obviously, the roof's going to come off separately, but now that these should have had time to dry, we're going to actually build the box. So, I run 2 corners, put it in there, ready, and then actually, now you want to be careful with this because of where your long sides have been put together, they are quite weak and they do bend in these areas. So you want to just take your time, make sure it's all nice and snug together. Make sure it's all, I try and do that so it's add a bit of glue to try and like settle itself, but still pliable a bit, to make sure it will dry now rigid as a box. Now what I was saying with this is if you put it in like this and you've done it correctly, you'll actually sit there quite happily. So you don't actually have to glue it on, but it's stronger if you do. So if you've done it correctly, you can run glue all along the back here and underneath to give it a good amount of strength and stability. Okay, so we're gonna carefully, I mean very carefully, move that over there. We're also, I never showed you this part, but we're also going to do a corner invertedly to glue it to here. Hopefully that corner detailing is going to look fine. So my one concern about this building is this corner detailing. What it's going to look when these 2 corners are stuck together. There is a little bit of missing detail, but I'm hoping that in the grand scheme of things, nobody's going to actually notice it. So that's going to there. Also, this little detail here, I want to put a post here to help keep the roof up, if that makes sense. I'm putting some supporting areas here, but I want to put something here. So I've taken a normal blank connector, a straight connector, and I'm going to put 2 Rohan little insignias to make like a solid little, well it's not a little, it's going to be a solid, and me not paying attention, I've nearly just put this upside down, which wasn't very clever of me, was it? So we'll put that in that side, put that in that side. It's going to make like a pillar here. I haven't decided until it's finished built how many pillars or supporting areas I'm going to have around it. So for the roof, because it's a long roof, I'm going to get this glued on now to help stick together. I'm going to allow that to dry. Now that these two have dried, obviously there's notches to stick these two together, but it's smooth for the in the centre. So I'm going to also get these two areas together. So this piece here, I am twitchy how that's going to sit on. Not going to lie, bit nervous about that. Once and that is like that, I would recommend bringing it over carefully, and how I do it, and it's personal preference, so make sure it's the right way. Run your glue all along there, and then let it sit like this. All right. And give it time, and it's more important doing this on your double roofs, your long roofs, than it is on your singles. I would still do it on your singles, but it's getting it together. This is just going to be a single one, which goes along on this. So that's what the roof's going to be like. It's going to be a bit crazy. What you haven't seen on it, because these are pre-cut, is I have spent time cutting down. This is one of these fences, right, full height. I have trimmed the top down to make it more level, and I've taken a whole row at the bottom off. Well, I've taken the whole stand at the bottom, which sits down to make it flat. Taken all of that off, so these can actually stick together like this. So while this is drying, I will do these fences. This is the biggest pain of this building's design. Getting these fences to be the same height, if it is done correctly, as the actual building, which means it should glue to the bottom of here. Hopefully, if it's done correctly. I am hoping that it will work. Have to say, that is where this is going to be a lot of hope. Let's lay them down so they glue flush. Also, this top set doesn't quite go in the little holes that it's meant to do. So I've got a bit of praying to do with that as well. So we have got, let me just take some photos of this, if I can find my phone. So we've got like a crazy little zigzag going on. We've got some fences going on, and we've got a crazy roof which still isn't finished. So hopefully that is all stuck now. I am going over Yep, not stuck. Not stuck. These side pieces help it stick, because if you notice here, look, not stuck, bendy, bendy, still bendy, no. So what I'm going to do is I am going to stick this end on here to help it hopefully maintain its shape. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure so I'm going to have to do this one standing up to try and help it keep it shaping. Push them together like so. Oh, honest to God, this is the first time I'm doing this. Right, Games Workshop, you are magnificent. If you have a look here, the ends are really funky shape. Okay? I'm sorry about the camera being slightly blurred. Right? This is extraordinary. You might think it's funky shape to help with gluing. It's not. This funky shape here fits this, which means you do get this detailing like I wanted it up here without any effort at all. This is, well, Games Workshop, you have thought of everything, which is quite amazing. So massive applause to the designers at Games Workshop for that. That is amazing. I really do say that is quite significantly amazing. So this is my roof. So this is my main areas done. I'm gonna have it upside down to sort of double check everything is how it is meant to be. So Alright, so that goes on top of there. This will sit on top of here. This will let's just glue this together. All right. And then I'm just going to rest it in there. Will be better when it's glued. But let me just go freestyle for a second. This is my little stable block. What you saw a minute ago, well, pausing, I might, before the final area is here, just trim it down slightly because of, or do a bit of work to this fence here because of the roof is just not quite sitting on just perfect. Alright, so I've got slight minor work to do. But that is predominantly one of my designs, and I hope people like it. I'm really happy with how this one's turned out. So without more craziness on this one, we'll leave that there and we will start with this one, that kit as it's laid out. This is a 2-story building. Quite looking forward to this one, not gonna lie. It'll hopefully work. It's not as fiddly. It is not as fiddly. So this is the next crazy invention I am doing today. Hope this one, in theory this should work better than the last one, and I'm really happy with the last one. So let's run through this building. So I came up with this idea first. This is basically, and yes, there is only 3 sides. 1, 2, 3. These are the roof pieces. And then you'll see another double roof here sort of thing. So instead of having a wall here, it's got another roof sloping backwards, which is why these two are there and there for the design. But how the roof actually slopes down, it would probably mean I'd have to cut off this bottom bit to make it flush. And I'm like, well, I could do that, or I could put it on the board, or I can do this. This is ground floor and makes this a first floor. So not decided yet if I'm going to stick this all together or have it separate so I can do it different ways, different events. But also, if you can imagine this 3D, this is equivalently 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 wide. So this is a 3x3, where this house here as a base is only a 2x3, which means I'm going to have a lovely little 1x3 overhang here, and I have got some corner pieces this time, gone corners, and I've got some more of these Rohan pillars, and I'm going to have it as a corner to make like a uncover the thing. So again, you could have your horses outside if you so wished. So this is what I'm planning on this one. So we've got a first floor and a ground floor with a little overhang. So hopefully, and if you noticed how I've designed all of these kits together, so I said I used 6 kits. I did a single house. You saw my longer double house. Double house used 2 kits. And then you had my first crazy invention and my second, this one. They used 1.5 kits each. All being right. So you need 3 kits to make the building you've just seen and this building. So let's crack on with this, shall we? Again, I'm gonna, because it's all cleaned up, just ready to glue together, I'm gonna glue it how I would imagine it to give it best stability and best support going forward. So we're going to start with a bit of the roof and then basically start it and go this way and then put it all together. Alright, so again I'm going to just like quickly try and run through some of this area. So these, if you can see it, the corner areas for the roof, they do sit together quite nicely. So one side piece. First time I'm actually putting roofs together this way. Normally I've only done them side by side. This time I'm actually doing them one below each other. This is basically how you've got to do the Grand Hall. Or the big warehouse. So that is the roofs like that. Let's work on to the first floor now. Before I get tons of questions, because I'm sure some people are going to ask, how did I come up with some of these ideas for it, and aren't they a slight bit crazy, or some people might say slightly talented. If you say slightly talented, I'm going to say thank you very much. I do help come up with ideas for schemes. Sadly, I don't design all the schemes, or not really in the design department, but I do help in the construction area. One of the people on the desks coming up with crazy ideas for to make housing schemes work. So that's what I do for my actual Monday to Friday 9 to 5 job. So I've taken ideas like that, taken what I know, and tried to do 3D visualization with some of these areas to come up with ideas with what I want it to look like. I've just noticed I have made a slight mistake. I'm just going to swap out one of my walls. So I was meant to have slits in each side. Some mini windows, because you don't want a side, really, when you've only got 3 of them, to not be able to look out at. Be very bad for daylight. And I don't think Middle Earth have electricity, really, for light bulbs. So they'd want daylight, really. So we've got the sides there. I'm going to put the corner pieces on this one. Corners are the trickiest to make sure they are the correct way up. Because I've got these triangles vertical, I want to have the top triangles vertical as well to make it look consistent. So I'm sorry, this is my first video on building stuff live. So if you've got any questions, please drop me a comment and I'll reply back to it. And if you, this will be going up hopefully on Monday the 30th, and then it's probably going to be the 1st or the 2nd by the time I do my next set of videos building. So please make comments of what you'd like me to talk about more. If you think I need to skip a few sections, this is my first time. I will endeavour to do get better at this, but please make some comments. What you want to see more. Again, what I'm doing now currently is I am putting the corners onto my 2 short ones because of, as I said, I feel like it builds stronger. You glue both corners onto the short ones and then leave the longer areas without the corners, which does go against the GW build guide, I know. but did the build guide say how to make these two fine, well, what I'm calling fine looking buildings? I don't think it did. So from me, I think it can be told off from Games Workshop at another time. It's Games Workshop if you're looking at this video. I'm more than happy to come and do some videos for Warhammer TV, how to build some of these crazier ideas and more ideas, because of these aren't just all I've got. I have got more. So just supply me with these kits of houses. Don't think I need any more palisades really. But yeah, supply me with kits like this, and I will come up with some amazing designs for you. I have got many more designs in my head ready to go. So just making sure these are level, these corner bits. The one thing I do say on these kits is, if you could have just given us an extra spare corner at Games Workshop, it would have been amazing. There is a spare side, like straight, if you would call it a straight. But there are no spare corners, and just having an extra spare corner, you could come up with so many more different options. But I'm trying to limit this to what I have. So just use 6 kits, not going into my others, to make these buildings, and then so on and so forth. So now that everything's built, now we can stick it all together. Now 2 corners. Corners. So it's gonna look basically, if I put this on the board, and I might do if I want this separate, to be like without the top of it, like that. Let's push this over that way, like that, if it were. So you have an open space, open side, and some areas like that. This is going to be a bit more tricky because I don't have a back here to make sure it's the right length. So I need to get the roof on. I'm not again going to stick the roof onto it, but I need to get the roof on. That's why I did the base first, even though I've only just glued this. I want to get the roof on to make sure it glues the right width apart, so the roof can just lift on and off. So let's get this roof on, shall we? So again, I'm gonna put my glue along all this side. Probably thinking about it, should have done the roof part first. Get that on, leave it a little bit of time to set. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to prep this side already. Put some over the top. Get this on here. So it's in the right place. Glue along that side. Glue very quickly. Along the top. And then get some glue. Now it's important when you're trying things like this, and it's quite good for my desk to have this, is a lip. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it round, because I'm not sure about this lip going off it. I want to have somewhere that it can go to make sure it works. Yeah, look at that. Pull this out slightly. Look at that. Then we can rest it on here. Get my two little corner pieces. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to dab a tiny bit of glue on there to put it the right height, but so I can at any time pull it apart. Super glue is better for if you want to deconstruct it at a later time, because it doesn't melt the plastic as much as plastic glue. So that is the second building. So let's pull you off my tripod and let's have a little 360 at this. Now, even though I didn't have to put these slits in, because of thinking about it, I'm probably going to put dormers on this side. But, as I say, all the other detailing, side door, probably no side doors or porches going on this one, because it's got a pretty fancy porch as it is. Well, look at that. Hey, look at that. One thing I would say is, let's just put the camera down for a second and actually try and lift this roof off. Is, obviously, I'll probably put a piece of card underneath this so there is no hole, because you can actually see from underneath there isn't. I don't think in gaming it's actually going to make any difference. So I hope you liked this video. I know I didn't go into this building too much. We'll do a normal building for you in another time. But I hoped that you'd love these two more, which are like more fancy design. and then this one we went into briefly. We haven't done, as I say, the dormers or the outbuildings on these. It's just mainly what these two buildings are going to look like. And yeah, I hope you do love this. Hopefully you can see these ideas, see how roofs like this work, and come up with your own crazy ideas and post them in the comments here. I will be doing, as I say, another video going through them, going on to painting the buildings though. It says to use, to base them if you want to do it like pictures do it, this standard grey. But on the coat, and I was going to airbrush these, and then when that is crazy. Games Workshop do an actual base coat can. So please be sensible and buy the undercoat. I think it's going to save you so much hassle. That is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to water that down, airbrush it. I'm going to do what the Games Workshop say, and well, paint it the base coat they say to do it and work up. But I'm going to use a spray can, not an airbrush, because of it means I don't have to chaos it black and then airbrush it on. I can just do it all in one, and it will make it more simple for you. So at the end of the video, I've told you an important thing. Until the other day, I didn't know this spray can existed. Ben Greaves told me about it, and I was like, brilliant. It's going to save myself so much hassle, especially with all the Palisades and everything. It's all the same colour scheme. So until next time, I hope you found this video insightful, and how some of my crazy ideas that I've put up on Facebook have looked in the end, and I hope that you like it. And hopefully it will be less than a week until more Rohan Buildings comes to you from me. So until then, good night and enjoy. Please like, share and subscribe, by the way. Bye.